All right, wanted to just kind of provide an update on how the catch can is working on the channel here. I've been running this particular catch can. This is the Evil Energy one. Uh, I love it. It's really great. You can see I made a little bracket. I did away with their little dipstick. That it doesn't really help, in my opinion. I just take it out and open it up. The dipstick gasket O-ring is very small, and I did have it leak one time. Created an air leak, and my truck started running real rough on the highway. I changed over to a stainless steel M6x1 Allen screw with a copper washer, and I actually put that in with some red thread sealant, Loctite as I remember. Anyways, just want to kind of follow up. I run a two-stage PCV valve that gives much better crankcase evacuation. It also has a diagnostic port, so I'm able to monitor the crankcase vacuum levels in real time. I have a little. Well, I'll show it real quick. I have a little old airplane gauge on my dash cluster, so I can get suction from 0 to 10 inches of mercury. So when cruising, it runs at about a ½ an inch of mercury, and under load, it kicks up to just that first little mark there, which is 1 inch of mercury. Now that takes into account, of course, the fact that we have air coming in through the breather and replenishing, what is being sucked out of the crankcase. Now, if I were to block this off and run the motor in its current configuration, it would probably pull somewhere between, I would guess, 3 and 5 inches of mercury, but that would be pulling a vacuum as opposed to crankcase ventilation, which is how the system is designed to work. And by the way, some people will take the EFI motor and they'll slap a K&N filter on here. If you've done that, you've kind of messed up. I saw a video just the other day where they were rebuilding this Gauss 22RE, and they did a nice enough job, but then they put a K&N filter on here. It's like, whoa, bro, you just introduced a lot of unmetered air into your motor. The reason you have this breather from here, not breather, but this air tube from here to here, is because the air that goes in here ends up in there. And the computer needs to know how much volume of air we're dealing with through the airflow meter. And so the air that gets into the motor, whether it comes through the crankcase and goes into the intake, or whether it comes through the throttle body and goes into the intake, that's got to be metered air. If you just slap a K&N filter on here and you're running electronic fuel injection, you've just introduced a more or less unlimited amount of unmetered air. That's going to throw your fuel ratio off. Potentially, it could create a lean condition, which could burn your valves, your pistons. So you got to be you got to understand from an overall system standpoint what the heck is going on here. If you have a carbureted motor, sure, run all the K&N filters you want. Breather stuff, it's not as big a deal. With fuel injection, it is a big deal. So don't get crazy and ditch this when you have a fuel injected motor. It kind of, like I say, it plays a vital role to make sure that the air going in the crankcase to replace the air being sucked out of the crankcase through the PCV system is metered, known air to the computer. Back to the catch can. This is the Evil Energy. Had real good luck with it, aside from having to plug up the little dipstick affair that leaks occasionally. As far as what I see with my system, as I say, I have pretty consistent when cruising ½ inch of mercury vacuum level in the crankcase, when you account for air flowing back in. So it's a constant vacuum, helps the rings, so forth, blow by, everything like that. And lately, I've been seeing about 23 to 25 milliliters of oil in the catch can for every about 350 miles. So I'm real pleased with that. You know, 25 milliliters is just under 1 ounce of liquid. So, you know, around 3/4 of an ounce of oil present in the bottom of the catch can for every, you know, 350 miles. That means, you know, I should be able to go approximately, you know, 800 to 1,000 miles and only expect to have, you know, a couple ounces of oil in the catch can, which is, you know, for what you get as far as keeping the intake system clean. I think that's, you know, a reasonable kind of level to see in there. And I just take the oil and pour it back in the motor. So, and like I say, with the Motul 5W40 oil, it just seems like that oil is really a great match for the motor. You know, oil consumption. As soon as I switched that oil consumption diminished on the motor. The motor is rebuilt. Any of you guys who watched all the rebuild stuff know I'm running, you know, ceramic coated pistons and all kinds of stuff, you know, total seal rings and what have you. So the motor does use a little bit of oil. It's not, I don't know off the top of my head what the exact numbers are, but it's been diminishing. I think that's a function of the ring seating in a little bit better. After I have another maybe 5 or 10,000 miles on the motor, I'll dig into my records and see what the oil consumption is. But I want to say, yeah, it's not enough to be alarming anymore. I think it's maybe 8 ounces every couple thousand miles sort of deal, maybe 1,500 miles. Like I said, I'd have to dig in and see what the records are. But as far as catch can, really happy with it. Like I say, you know, I think I paid maybe $25-$30 for it and a little bit of hose and what have you. And it's just, you know, really nice to have that oil not going in to the intake system and be able to pour it just back into the motor. So anyways, for the guys on the channel who were curious about how the catch can was doing, that kind of gives you a rundown. Like I say, really pleased with the overall setup, and motor's been running pretty good, so pretty well. So, all right, if you have any questions on anything I cover here, feel free to use the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.